In the vast and fierce waters of the Atlantic Ocean, modern fishing boats hundreds of meters long slowly glide through each large wave like steel fortresses floating in the vast ocean. On deck, a team of dozens of fishermen are ready to enter a shift that lasts for many hours, with a single goal, to harvest tons of fish with giant trawl nets. This fishing method relies on a system of bottom trawls or mid-level trawls with enormous dimensions, which can be hundreds of meters long and dozens of meters wide, designed to sweep a large area of water, gathering all the schools of fish moving in clusters in the seabed. When the boat has reached an area identified as having a high fish stock, usually thanks to a system of radar, fish finders and satellite data, the captain will signal to start lowering the net. 2 wings of super strong steel cables are lowered from both sides of the boat, pulling the mouth of the net wide open thanks to the otter boards that keep the mouth open and create maximum opening. The trawl begins to sink to the desired depth, which can be mid-water or close to the seabed depending on the target fish such as herring, sardines, mackerel, cod or red snapper. The ship's giant engine continues to move steadily at a slow speed, dragging the net across nautical miles of ocean. The trawling process can last from 1 to several hours, while electronic monitoring systems on board constantly monitor the pulling force and the fullness of the net via sensors installed at the mouth and bottom of the net. When the net is determined to be full, the captain orders the net to be pulled back. This is a crucial stage and requires extremely precise coordination between the sailors and the hydraulic winch system. The net is slowly rolled up on the large reel at the stern, meter by meter, heavy and soaked with sea water. Under the high-pressure lights, thousands of silvery fish. Struggling in the last layer of water, rise to the surface of the deck like a living, rushing stream. All the fish are either dumped into giant stainless steel tanks or transferred directly to deep freezers by automatic conveyor belts. Workers quickly sort them by species and size, removing marine debris or unmarketable fish, and then transfer them to deep freezers, ensuring that the quality of the fish meat is preserved as if it had just been caught. Throughout the process, every step is strictly controlled by sensor systems, surveillance cameras, and production management software, helping to optimize productivity while ensuring the safety of fishermen and equipment. Giant trawling in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean is one of the most efficient forms of industrial fishing in the world, allowing hundreds of tons of fish to be harvested in just a few days at sea. However, high productivity comes with huge technical pressures, fuel costs, weather risks, and ecological responsibility when the sea is overexploited. Therefore, today's modern fleet must strictly comply with regulations on quotas, fishing times and prohibited areas, and use selective mesh-sized devices to minimize the capture of juvenile fish and protect marine biodiversity. Thus, in the middle of the ocean without shores, giant ships still silently carry out the mission of providing food for the whole world, where each time the net is cast, it is a campaign of technical skills, human strength and courage to overcome the storms while the sea above may be calm or stormy. Below is a silent battle between man and nature, The giant nets can accidentally catch unwanted creatures such as sharks, sea turtles, and dolphins. Therefore, modern ships are often equipped with bycatch reduction devices, BRDs. Such as escape hatches or rectangular selective nets that release unwanted individuals before they become completely entangled. In some European and North American countries, the use of surveillance cameras and biosensors can also identify each type of creature caught in the net in real time, thereby adjusting the path and depth of the net while operating. On deck, work never stops. As soon as one net is processed, the crew prepares for the next. Heavy raincoats, rubber boots, non-slip gloves and hard hats are mandatory, as any mishap on the cold, wet deck can lead to a serious accident. In the engine room, engineers are on duty constantly to monitor the operation of the winch system, main engine and generator. They must ensure that all equipment is running smoothly and without malfunction while pulling in the net. As even a small failure can ruin the entire trip or endanger the entire crew. In the control center, the captain and marine officers monitor data from the GPS positioning system, fish detecting radar, weather and ocean wave information from satellites, and calculate the next route based on fish density and fuel consumption. Every decision is strategic, as the time and distance between fishing spots are vast. A small mistake can cause the ship to travel hundreds of nautical miles without catching anything. At night, when the entire ocean is plunged into darkness, the lights on the ship shine brightly like a floating city. The rumbling of machinery, the sound of waves hitting the ship's side, and the coordinated shouts of the fishermen blend together to create an industrial soundtrack typical of the seafaring profession. There are times when it is stormy. Waves several meters high make the ship sway violently. But the work must continue, because if the golden moment is missed, the entire fishing trip will fail. Many fishing boats in the Atlantic can operate continuously for 20 to 30 days at sea without docking, thanks to the deep freeze preservation system and the closed fish processing line right on the ship. After being classified, the fish will be cleaned, frozen on site at a temperature of -40°C, packaged and labeled with barcodes to be ready for delivery when arriving at port. Such modern ships are like a mobile factory in the middle of the ocean, where everything is organized systematically, professionally and always operates according to the principle of optimizing every hour. After each fishing trip, hundreds of tons of fish are brought to the port, distributed to wholesale markets, supermarkets, food processing plants and exported all over the world. Few people know that behind the delicious slices of fish on the dining table is a series of harsh and elaborate journeys in the middle of the ocean, where humans have to fight with nature, technology and their own limits. And so, day after day, the large steel sails continue to sail out to sea, carrying hope, technology and the desire to conquer the sea with giant trawls that have become symbols of the modern global fishing industry more than just a technical battle. Each trip is a physical and mental challenge for the entire crew. Waking up in the middle of the night to prepare to cast nets. Working continuously for hours in the rain and wind. Eating hastily amid the roar of engines. Sleeping only a few hours a day in a small, cramped cabin. That is the daily rhythm of life for those working at sea. For many sailors, being away from home for months at a time is all too familiar. They can only contact their loved ones via unstable satellite signals and send hasty text messages during short breaks. Yet they remain steadfast at sea because they believe in the value of their work, feeding millions of people, providing income for coastal communities and keeping the fishing industry going strong. Some ships even have scientific experts accompanying them to monitor the sustainability of their fishing operations. They collect data on species, numbers, sizes of fish, and incidence of unwanted organisms, and make recommendations for adjusting nets or routes to minimize negative impacts on the ecosystem. In highly regulated areas such as marine reserves or national exclusive economic zones, vessels must obtain specific permissions or even install mandatory voyage monitoring devices to ensure they do not violate international maritime laws. In addition, many large fishing companies have begun investing in advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence. Machine learning, and highly automated net systems to reduce dependence on human labor, increase efficiency, and protect the environment. Underwater cameras can analyze fish schools and adjust trawl depth in real time. Small robots can check net condition, patch holes, and even help sort fish before hauling them aboard. This is the future of giant trawl fishing, where humans, machines, and data work together to maximize efficiency while protecting the ocean. However, no matter how modern the technology is, the heart of every fishing trip is still the human. It is the calloused hands, the experienced eyes of the old fisherman, and the courage of the new generation that keep the ship's rudder steady in the vast ocean. Each time the net is pulled, it is a time to face danger, a time to test endurance, and also a testament to the bond between humans and the ocean, the place that has fed them for generations. When the ship turns the waves to return to port, loaded with seafood in the cold compartment, it not only brings fish but also untold stories of a silent but great journey. Those stories, although no one has written them down in full, are still clearly seen through each look, each smile mixed in the salty mist and even in the long whistle of the ship echoing throughout the harbor. And then, as the ship sets sail again at another dawn, the giant trawl net opens wide again, like an extended arm of man reaching out to the vast ocean, not only to catch fish, but also to preserve an ancient maritime heritage in the midst of an increasingly advanced industrialization era on that vast ocean, where humans are just a small dot in the endless waves. Fishing with giant trawl nets is not just a job to make a living, it is a symbol of the will to survive. Of the desire to control nature with intelligence and perseverance. Each time the net is lowered, it is a bet with the ocean. No one can be sure whether the fish will still be there, whether the weather will turn bad in the middle of the trip or some unexpected incident will occur. However, the sailors still set out, still believing in experience, in data, in machines, and most importantly, in each other. The crew is like a living machine. Each person plays an important role, closely coordinating every action from starting the winch, checking the sensors, observing the net until the fish are pulled onto the deck. Any delay or deviation can cause the whole process to be disrupted. It is this understanding, forged through hundreds of trips, that creates a solid team that can face any challenge. Newcomers often spend a long time learning, observing, and working under the strict guidance of veteran sailors. They must learn to distinguish each type of fish by just looking, grasp the changing signals of the sea through the color of the sky, and memorize the complex operating procedures of the net system and modern equipment. Despite the support of technology, no machine can completely replace human intuition, flexibility, and solidarity. In the moment the net is pulled up, when hundreds of tons of fish fall onto the deck, the water splashes, cheers echo throughout the ship. It is not only the joy of the results of labor, but also the release of countless hours of pressure. There are trips filled with success, but there are also many times when they return empty-handed, having to put down the net halfway because of a big storm or because the sea has run out of fish. Each failure is a lesson. Each turn back is a time to gain experience for the next journey. Because in the sea, no one is a permanent winner. The vast Atlantic Ocean, with many deep water areas, with cold and hot currents flowing in opposite directions, is an ideal habitat for many species of fish that migrate seasonally. It is this complexity that makes fishing here both attractive and harsh. Only fleets equipped with advanced technology and skilled sailors can maintain long-term and effective operations. In addition, many Atlantic coastal countries have established international treaties to jointly monitor and coordinate the exploitation of marine resources, avoiding overfishing or damage to marine ecosystems. Today's giant trawlers must report their catches in real time, use minimum mesh sizes to protect juvenile fish, and comply with seasonal and species-specific catch limits. These strict regulations force companies and fishermen to change their mindset from destructive fishing to sustainable fishing, both for long-term survival and to preserve the ocean for future generations. And so, each trawl in the Atlantic today is no longer just an act of harvesting fish, but also an expression of the balance between humans and nature, between development and preservation, between conquering and understanding the ocean. When the ship arrives at port after many days at sea, it is not only the end of a fishing trip, but also the beginning of a large-scale logistics chain. Refrigerated trucks line up, ready to receive hundreds of tons of fish that have just been deep frozen on board. Each shipment is weighed, checked for quality, and compared with production data automatically recorded in the control compartment. The fish will be transferred to processing plants, some of which are kept in their original form, some of which are filleted, canned, smoked, or processed into value-added products for export. A significant amount is transported by air to high-end markets such as Japan, Europe, and North America, where the quality of fish caught in the mid-Atlantic is highly regarded. The name of the ship, the specific itinerary, the time of fishing, the coordinates of the sea area, the freezing method, all are fully recorded in a modern traceability system. This not only helps to make the supply chain transparent but also demonstrates a commitment to legal and sustainable fishing. In many major fishing ports such as Vigo, Spain, Bremerhaven, Germany, Boston, USA, or Reykjavik, Iceland, every time a giant trawler docks, it is like a daily but important event. The media, importers, environmental monitoring and quarantine representatives are all present to monitor and confirm the legality and quality of the shipment. Under the cold ice covering the cargo boxes, is the result of hundreds of hours of non-stop work, the efforts of technology, human strength and patience to overcome rough waves. After a few short days of rest, repairing equipment, refueling, food and safety checks, the ship sets off again. The fishermen temporarily say goodbye to the mainland, leave their families to continue a new journey. The sea never stops moving. And they, the people who live with the sea, never stop moving. They are the living links of a giant industry, where modern technology meets traditional experience, where each journey not only brings fish but also contributes to keeping the global food chain full. The story of giant trawl fishing in the middle of the Atlantic is therefore not just a technical report or a piece of the industry. It is a comprehensive picture of a special world in the middle of the ocean, where people still cling to the sea every day.